Videos of the 1991 Weinberger reunion. Welcome to one and all.
And guys, if you need to cool down, it's about
the nose picker is Wig.
In this room.
And this peeking around the corner is Ann. If she would look up, we'd see her. Hi Ann, how are you?
Sounds
It's
good.
cooler outside.
And Annie, she's looking at all the old pictures.
And this I will have to zoom back, otherwise I will never get him in there.
You don't want to. No, you don't want to. Hi.
Oh, God, look.
That was a high school though, Melrose High School.
Dom DeLuise.
Yeah, the two brothers. Well, come
I'm
on.
too close for this.
Here, what?
Wait a minute, I'm too close here.
What do you think, you're photographing the grandkid? No. You want that on film? You're going to get that on film. Where's Linda?
Now watch directions.
This is Dorothy and Judy
Cross the alley over
making some
here.
salad at the sink. Judy won't turn around, but she will.
Behind the chain link fences to go through. They've got a dog.
You just gotta watch people. There's Dorothy, and there's Judy, and there's
So just
Mary
close the
Ann.
gates though, because you don't want
And
to.
she's explaining so all these good cooks we got here.
Are you sure?
And what is that?
She painted it and everything.
What is that? What is that that just came in
You want to
there?
come with us?
All right. Whoa.
Sounds ominous. Sunshine.
And there's Warner, otherwise known as Wig. I don't know why he's called.
Donna, what was Hitchcock's first name?
Buffalo Bill.
Wild Bill, not Buffalo Bill. No. Remember everybody was taking these still pictures of Hitchcock? You remember that, Dick?
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
Wait a minute, I'm zooming. I can't talk and
You're
zoom.
zooming.
Has that got sound with it?
I can't talk and zoom at the
Just
same
let it all
time.
hang, can you let it all hang out at the same time?
Yeah, it's got sound
It's
too.
hanging out now, Dick.
If you tell dirty jokes now, they all get recorded for posterior.
And
I don't know any dirty
for
jokes.
posterior. Ah,
Tell your son to stop picking his nose
you know any
there.
dirty stories?
I don't know any dirty stories.
You don't know any dirty stories? Really?
Wig, say something smart ass.
You asked UCSD, what do you do there? What do you do at UCSD? Oh, well, Paul should go get to know you there. Since he wants to become a doctor. Paul,
really?
Paul, you're going to play a big
John.
works in the financial aid office.
Oh, John.
Medicine.
There you are again.
Hey, you got me again.
All right.
Each classroom, so we get rid of our accent.
We're gonna get rid of accent.
I guess it
Did a
really
good
helps.
job. No, I can tell. It's definitely on.
The swan?
They had that. Was that it?
No, TikTok.
What?
TikTok
Where they
lounge.
had that buffet?
Yeah.
You're not narrating.
TikTok.
How come I
She's
don't remember
speaking.
that? Very deep in the hidden recesses.
This is Mary finally sitting down and eating.
What is this running commentary?
If you think his commentary is good, you should hear our son
Time
Paul.
warp, 1024.
And then in
Warp.
between, he's got this laugh. He has one of these laughs that comes right from the toes. Oh, oh, oh! When he laughs, you know he laughs.
Is Paul coming over?
Yeah. Not today. He'll be here.
Not today.
No, I don't think so. I'll give him a call. It's in the middle of the house building.
Where is this church thing tomorrow?
Minneapolis, Lutheran. Go up to.
They got a cash bar?
Straight up.
You're going to have a cash bar?
Well, what are you doing? Just having
Oh,
the
what
lumps
the
there?
hell?
Or what's going on?
Chicken dinner.
Oh.
What time are we going?
5:30, I think.
With no cash bar.
What's your invitation say?
My invitation? What do you mean?
I looked at it this morning. It didn't say a time that I remember.
No. I thought you'd go.
I think it says 5:30 on that sheet that you gave us the other day.
5:30? Really? Well, there's the guy with the. I don't
Now that the rain has stopped, we're all going to come back outside again. Here comes Marilyn with a big smile on her face and another camera.
Time or just since grandkids?
We don't own this. We just borrowed it from Marilyn's
Oh, is that
brother-in-law.
right?
Yeah.
Boy, everybody's got one of those.
And there's Mary wiping off all the
That
chairs.
thing that's marked Wagner. This one? Yeah. That's our fund to go to Alaska.
In Minnesota, you have mosquito swatters and towels.
And in winter we have
Snowmobiles and
Snowmobiles
scarves
and galoshes.
and galoshes. Lots of galoshes. A galosha is a bohemian bun that has
That's
That's right, she got
kolache.
sound on
Nobody's
that
even
thing,
had
too.
any poppy seed yet.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I haven't had poppy seed.
Yeah, poppy seed, poppy seed is what they make opium from. And when you take drug tests, never have eaten kolachki first.
That's right.
There's a lot of Bohemian drug addicts in this world.
If you're a pilot, you don't want to eat the poppy seed bread.
Remember that she went out there and wiped that table off?
And now we get a zoom in on Peter outside. Finally, everyone is
Finally got Pete
outside.
Finally got Pete outside.
The weatherman.
This is the section we're sending to America's Funniest Videos.
Oh, God.
Oh. Well, now this is Marilyn. I'm trying to take a picture of Dick because he's complaining about never getting in on any of the pictures. Now he's going in the house.
And watch what he comes out with.
And we'll watch for him to come out. Is he going to come out
Empty-handed.
very soon or?
Hey, John, don't forget to take some burgers and stuff.
I'm not leaving.
Okay.
Okay, here he comes. Oh, he's coming out with the famous
Now
minnow bucket.
that's what you call a two-fisted drink.
Now he's drinking it, I guess. So this is everybody's
That's
straws
his
in
drink. And we'll,
This is mine.
there, and
Everybody else get your own.
the rest of us have to fend for ourselves. And this is the end of the recording for Dick right now.
I always forget.
Greetings.
Oh, yeah. This is one of my good friends.
This is one of your good friends.
Gil. That's Maxine Benson.
Hi, how are you?
What's that?
Introduce him to the...
That's Janelle. It's easier to come around this way.
Okay.
That's Janelle.
maybe we had to jump the fence.
And that's my brother.
There we go.
Slower, slower.
Gail.
Over here. They're inside. They're inside.
Well, it's my first experience.
I know, but you're like whipping that thing around there.
Oh, I'm not either.
Sick. Yeah, you're going way
Oh, this is
fast.
just some new arrivals coming.
Want to hear another one?
Yeah, come on over.
No, you have to stay here. I want to hear too.
Loli went down to Orlando on vacation. And he walked in the bar and had a glass of beer. This great big Indian came over and sat down alongside us. He was from Minneapolis. Big Chippewa Indian. And the Indian said,
This is Uncle Peter telling a joke.
That's good.
wait a minute. He says,
Joey has a joke and he thinks he's too shy to say it. Run!
Wait, start. Peter, over there, behind the chair. Good boy. You don't have to jump underneath them.
I am. Grandpa.
Well, we're still waiting to hear the
okay,
end
but
of
you aren't listening.
this. All right.
So this Indian comes up alongside the toy boat, our Oli, and he says, Ugh, me have riddle. You guess riddle. I buy beer all night. You not guess riddle, you buy me beer all night. And Oli says, yeah, sure, that's a good deal. Yeah. What's the riddle? And the Indian says, my mother have son who is not my brother. Who is it? And Oli scratched his head. He said, I not know. Who? And the Indian says, ugh, me. So Oli had to buy beer all night long for this guy. Yeah, and he got back from Orlando he went up on the Iron Range, and he was in the bar with his buddy Sven. He says, Sven, he says, I got a good riddle for you.
If it's according to him,
And then he says, what? What's the riddle? He says, my mother have a son who is not my brother. Who is it?
Company, dear.
And Sven says, I don't know. Who is it? He says, that's been that goddamn Indian down Orlando.
Where's that button?
First addition to the Weinberger clan. She's 6 weeks old. Oh my God. And just peaceful as can be.
What's her name?
I don't know.
No, that's not
What's her name?
What's her name? Nora Kathleen something.
Nobody knows.
Moira Kathleen.
Moira.
Moira Kathleen. And she was just a good little cutie on the plane. She's 6 weeks old, and she likes scrumpets.
Who does she belong to?
She belongs to that lady that's setting up the playground over there.
Hey, how are you doing?
We came back 2 days early to see you.
Hey, great.
Rebecca? My Rebecca. This is Rebecca. This is Uncle Joe. This is Uncle Pete. This is Uncle Dick. Hi, Rebecca. And this is your new cousin Maura. Look at this little baby. And she came by airplane. Who got that? Isn't she a doll? The newest branch of the Weinbergers here.
Where are you at now?
Mostly lemonade and lime
No, I don't really know who all these people are, but we'll figure that out later on.
Sure, that's right.
Here's Wig cooking Polish and brats and hamburgers later on.
No, not mine. My brother's granddaughter.
I know how to get
That's the latest
Hey, Joe.
okay.
No,
We have 5 ones for that?
it's a friend of Pete.
Sorry. What?
Kathy, I'm still in
No.
Barbara and hi. Now you can remember each other.
Doesn't have a driver's license.
And your Aunt Marilyn. And this is Barb's friend here, Kurt.
Mary, say their names again.
Who's that?
What? The grouchy one in the blue. The grouchy one in the blue belongs to me.
Hey, quiet.
These are Bump's kids.
He's at the airport. Picking up Teresa.
Oh.
Bump isn't here yet, and everybody's wondering where he is.
Where is Mike?
Getting ready at the hotel.
Kathy Wagner, right?
It's
What about the other Mike?
5 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're trying to find out where everybody is that isn't here.
Oh, really?
We're really waiting.
Now, this is a group of Weinbergers trying to put up something. I think it's a playpen. And everybody's
afraid it's a tent.
everybody thinks it's going to be a tent, and they're going to stay for 3 weeks.
Get in there, Mike. Show them your stuff.
These people.
And here's somebody standing around with part of it, and she doesn't know what to do with it.
No idea.
I need a case.
And Dick is over there holding the baby, waiting for it to be set up so he can put her in.
Waiting for these geniuses to put this thing together.
I got one over here.
This is, who are you? Steve. Steve, this is one of Bump's offspring, and his wife, Chris.
And this is their mental test.
I mean, you people are Weinberger.
So far, they are flunking.
That's right.
Well, but see now we have another person take it apart and then they have to put it all back together.
Oh, here we go.
Actually, they've got directions inside.
See, I think this is another offspring of the Bumps.
And
Anne. And behind her is
Mike Bishop.
Mike, and he's
Mary Kay.
Mary Kay's husband. Another one of Bumps. Another Bump. And who are the ladies behind? Oh, there's Dorothy.
Mary Kay.
And Mary Kay. Huh? Oh, Linda's giving directions now. She knows everything. Now, I don't know who these two people are. Maybe they'll tell us.
This is
Margaret.
Margaret. Bumps. And John.
One of mine.
Just one of yours. Okay. We'll now go see how the playpen is progressing.
The last time I saw any of them.
Oh, this is
the
Marilyn.
youngest,
Yes.
or the oldest one of the grandchildren.
And you had a brother, Bill.
Bill.
It
It
is, isn't it? Are they here?
No, they couldn't come.
I think she could say that before she
And now there they have an expert helping him. He should get it made pretty fast.
Hey,
Peter.
Please have to go.
That's Peter.
Oh, okay.
You're on TV. You want to say hi? Right there.
You're playing Crazy Eights.
Let's go play Crazy Eights.
This is Joe coming out the door. He's got a cast on his hand because he has had carpal tunnel surgery. And there's sweet Linda.
And finally, the prodigal oldest son arrives after getting lost on the way from Wisconsin. And he arrives in his shorts. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, you did. You arrived.
Driving Idaho.
That's good.
Now get my daughter.
Real good.
Kathy's still here.
Real good, Kathy. Nice to see you.
Just like in the words of one of the
Now we're taking family pictures. And we have Joe and Peter and Mary and Dick and Bumper, the late arrival, otherwise known as Morris.
This is after a long day when Mary.
How long do we have to act friendly to each other?
Mary came up.
How long do we have to act friendly to each other anyway?
I guess that's the end.
On the camera. Now, where's the little one?
We went in the house.
Oh, good. We can reserve.
That's okay. He lined up again. There's 4 Peters. Peter, Uncle Peter, and Peter, Mary and Wiggs Peter. And who's the next one?
Not Tedros. Okay, who's this one? You ready for more?
This is Peter Wagner.
Steve. And Steve's Peter. Okay, thank you, Peters.
Hi there.
Light of Rose.
Wig presentation
Anyway,
3.
I'm not a member of the Weinberger clan. We, as so many of us, have been
And you won't be until you improve your joke.
have been adopted into the clan, even though we aren't completely, fully, whatchamacallited members.
Yeah.
But on behalf of the Minneapolis Weinbergers, I want to invite to welcome all of you to Minneapolis. And we are pleased to see all of you here, really. There is one among you who is special to me. He means a lot, but he's not just right. And we have a token of our esteem for him. If you would step forward, please.
Is this a Minnesota Twins cap?
And by God, wear it for the rest of the week.
Get that baby!
I don't know. Don't open it, Dad.
What place?
It was too much. Too much.
That's all right, baby.
She doesn't like the
That's okay.
twins. It's the twins cap.
That's okay, Daddy. We all feel the same way about wigs.
But the fly, he knows.
Yeah, the circle I think she likes a different team, is what she likes.
Have you met the newest?
I met his wife, but I have
Mike, what you do? Here's Dorothy.
You have to wear a different cap.
Is it the twins or is it Warren?
It's the twins.
I'm not taking any chances.
Zoom in on Wig.
Yeah, I know.
You can see it coming.
Big voice, yeah.
She probably will eventually, not right now.
Hanging on
You
to
can
the
tell
hard
another
bag.
twins fan.
Oh.
It's okay.
I used to go fishing. He always wore his brown suit with a dress shirt and a tie when we went fishing. It was an old suit, patched, you know, on the elbows and patched on the knees. But he would always wear a suit.
No, Mary has asked the brothers and Dorothy to remember things about Dad.
You were.
It's drizzling for 8 hours, and I'm sitting
Peter,
there.
I have an answer for both of your complaints. On the first one, the reason that you didn't get to read the magazines is because you couldn't read.
But the pictures, explain the pictures.
And the reason that you didn't go fishing is because you were always running away from home and you weren't there to go.
No, I asked once if I could run away from home, and he picked me up and he said, "How far can I throw you?"
Gee, that's funny. I ran away from home twice in Melrose, and the first time I got to the city limits, and he pulled up in the car. And,
He had a suitcase under his bed packed all the time.
yeah, he did.
Dick Gretsch and I ran away from home,
Mother
our
would wash the
respective
pools and put
homes
them back in their
in Melrose, and we went down to the Sauk River Bridge that went over to Dick Gretsch's and camped underneath it, and we were gone from home for at least 3 hours.
Hey, that was you. Hey, that was you and me. We got help.
Well, yeah, well, you and I too, but then later when I was older, I went with Dick Gretsch. I mean, we were
How
going to
come you
go.
ran away from home?
Huh? Well, we were mad at somebody.
That.
I mean, every kid that gets mad at their parents runs away
was
from
way
home.
back in 1948.
Okay.
When Mary came home and announced to him that she
Okay,
was
now
going out
remember
with me.
something.
Marilyn, get that baby.
Mary came home and announced to MJ that she had a date, and he said, "With who?" And she said, "Warner Wagner." And what did he reply?
That boob. He got a D in physics.
My
But
favorite.
did I listen?
And I couldn't stay at the house long after everyone was asleep because Mary's mother started counting the cigarette butts in the ashtray. And I bought a pipe. But it didn't help.
In Jordan, Minnesota, our youngest brother saved 2 chickens that were born at Easter.
Yep.
For Easter chicks.
Yep.
And only 2 survived out of maybe a half dozen. You're ahead of the story.
They're Napoleon and Columbus.
Napoleon and Columbus. And we lived a half a block up a hill from the highway that went through town.
I love those chickens. They used to follow me around.
Oh, they thought he was their mother. Well, they imprinted on him when they first were born, and they followed him around.
They're my pets.
Honest, it was the damnedest thing.
In and out the cat door.
Other people had dogs or pets.
And you had chickens. And this one day, Napoleon went down the hill and got hit by a car.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he didn't quite make it.
Just
and,
found out now.
lunch.
No, it was supper. And we all had chicken, and we all knew that it was Napoleon except him.
You blocked it out?
And so here we are. So here we are eating, and Joe's saying, "Where's Napoleon?" And Dad had this mouthful, and he said, and he put it down. And he said, "I'm not hungry."
We took it over to the Marksons to eat.
Because
I didn't know you had those two damn chickens.
They were pretty
and
big.
I went up to see Mary one day and she was getting dressed, so I went to the piano, which was an old upright. And the front of it, of course, in order to get more sound, it leaned out. Well, it was in that position. And I sat at the piano and it went thunk, 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 you know. And I thought, what the hell is with this piano? And I continued to play it. And all of a sudden, this chicken walks out and walks down the keyboard going,
Mary, who was it that had to follow you? Was that Dick that had to follow you when you went with Wade?
Oh, yeah.
What fun?
Yeah, he had to like
make sure everything was okay.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah, really. Well, that's the advantage of reunions. You find out lots of dirt you didn't know.
Right. Sometimes you're better off not knowing some of it.
Right.
I just reminded them
He just
about
found out about Napoleon.
in Melrose.
Well, I heard the story at the last reunion, I think. They finally revealed. I didn't know for what, 35 years.
The Jordan paper just issued the 45th, and under the 45 years, they reissued about little Joey Weinberger floating down the creek.
Did they?
Little Joey Weinberger rescued from creek.
That first year, as I recall, there were 5 serious, damn near killed incidents.
And guess who they all were?
Do you remember the time you got stuck on the railroad tracks with your roller skates?
This is the most interesting to these two.
What are they laughing about?
tell them about the time you
And 5 years old. Yeah. 5 years old, and he comes home and he said, the train stopped for me. Mom thought he'd made this up. You know, the train didn't stop. The train never stops in Jordan. Why would the train stop in Jordan, right? But Mrs. Belden lived right across from the tracks, and she vouchsafed that yes, indeed, the train had stopped because there was Joe stuck on, and the nice man got out of the train and helped him off the railroad track. And then there was the time you were digging for pirate gold.
Yeah, I remember that. Marietta Markson.
Markson, that's right.
I don't know.
Don't you remember that?
That one I don't remember.
He had a rake, and she had a hole. And Dick went to look in the hole. Joe went to look in the hole, and he got his head split.
I came in, it was sort of bleeding. Mom got sick.
She lost it.
She did.
She lost control
Dad
completely.
wrapped my head up in towels or whatever, and
that explains a lot.
Well, see, how many are we up to? 3 or 4?
Well, the time you went sliding down the hill,
Living on the thin edge.
onto the highway, the semi was coming.
Right through the wheels.
Right through the wheel. Okay, that's 4.
He got ran over. He told me that.
He got run over.
Yeah.
Oh, it's been embellished over time.
about 4 years old, Dad ran me over with the car. What kind of car was that?
The car wouldn't start.
Well, Ford, it had high clearance. Must have had high clearance.
Well, you wanted to go along, and you got on the bumper.
Are you trying to
And he
focus
started
without your
up.
glasses?
Oh, no, I've got my glasses on.
And the car went right over you.
Bell.
And then Mama came hollering, and
Joe
the
needs
car
to do
over
it.
your head.
Look at all that stuff that came out in Napoleon.
Okay, I was supposed to remember about Dad.
That's all right. Kids go into it too.
This is why Dad, maybe his hair started thinning out. Why he got shorter haircuts. I don't know. You know, the thing I remember about Dad,
because Dick and I lived with him when everybody else had left. Dick came back, but I remember that when we didn't get a TV till really late.
Right.
You know, everybody else
I bought
had
it.
TV. Is that right? You finally, thank God. And because Mom enjoyed her last
That's why I bought
year
it.
of
Mom
life.
was sick and just
Yeah.
sit around.
She
So I
should.
really bought it for her.
Right. Yeah.
What I remember was when Dad would watch things like Show of Shows or anything with girls on it, and they would have, you know, bare legs or something like that, and because this was like the magazines that you're talking about, he would say, Joe, look at how awful. Look at that, Joe. I would be watching sometimes. He'd say he wouldn't want to watch alone. Like, hey, Joe, look how terrible that is. And of course the nudge.
Always the nudge.
The elbow. Yes.
I inherited that in my friend.
That's why.
Is that right?
That's why.
The most famous nudge and the most famous nudge came at his expense. Do you remember when you met Marv Stoltz in the drugstore with Ione? And my dad went to introduce you, and no, it was Marv that ran around behind the. You were there. That Marv ran around the counter because he didn't want to get nudged.
When I used to go to the airport, I'd put a cushion on. Because 4 miles is all it took for me to be lame on my arm. Wait, look at that.
Exactly.
Morris
It's
was.
kind of narrow.
Yeah.
He'd always do this.
Yeah.
And I'd be standing there, and he would turn around, and I'd get a smack right across here. I was thinking if I get cancer of the breast. You know whose fault it is. I'd get whacked because it was right at the side, and there I'd get it.
Morris was impatient with inefficiency.
Yeah.
Yes.
He never had an unkind word to say, but he could not stand inefficiency or deceitfulness in any way, shape, or form. So we're sitting here, one of the last times he visited, he said, "Where's the bank?" And I said, "Well, we got all kinds of banks." "Well, I got traveler's checks, so I got to cash them." I said, "What kind are they?" He said, "American Express." Well, I said, "Well, TCF is the American Express agent here. You go down there. I got the company. Shouldn't be any problem." So we walk in, and there's this 140-year-old clerk behind the desk, Mrs. TCF. And MJ gives her, I think, $100 worth of traveler's checks. And he says, "I'd like to cash these." And she looks at him and she says, "Where do you live?" He says, "Well, Washington, D.C. And she said, "I'm sorry, we can't cash them." And he says, "Well, my son-in-law lives here. He's got an account here." She said, "I'm sorry, you're not from here. We can't cash them." He said, but you sold them to me in Washington, D.C. She said, "I'm aware of that, but we don't know you and we can't cash them." And he argued with her, and he got sarcastic as only MJ could do.
Now listen. Can you see it? Now listen.
And he says, "Well, I won't cash these here. I'll cash them someplace else." He says, "Are you capable of closing accounts?" And she said, "Well, yes." Well, he says, "I have an account downtown with $40,000 in it, and you close that, please." And she tried to apologize, and of course MJ was having none of it. He said, "No, close the account." And he did.
Another true story. This one is a true story. And maybe you younger ones don't know it, but in 1942, Dad went back to the University of Minnesota to get his master's degree that he started in 1927.
Yeah.
And because he figured that when the young men all got back from the service, they'd have better degrees and his chance of getting superintendency would be diminished. So here he is, he's got 5 kids, and he's going to school at the University of Minnesota, and he's trying to run a school district. And he came down with a limp right leg. It really got bad, and he couldn't do a damn thing with it. And he went to the local doctor in town, and the doctor couldn't find anything wrong with him. So that he went down here to Minneapolis to a specialist. He went in, and the doctor, honest to God, this happened, Mom was there. The doctor said, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "I don't know, that's what I'm here for." He said, "Well, certainly you can tell me what you're feeling wrong." He said, "I'm here so you can help me with my leg." He said, "Well, I can't help you Tell me what's wrong. He said, I'm going to a vet. He said, we had them out for the horses all the time. He said, they couldn't tell them either, but they could help them.
That would be how he would get sarcastic with me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did the same thing when I came down with him from Melrose one time to the Fauché Tower to a doctor when he was having his stomach trouble. And we went in, and the doctor said, what's wrong? And he said, that's what I'm here for you to tell me. So finally the doctor examined him, and finally the doctor gave him a prescription. And he says, where can I get this filled? And he said, well, downstairs there's a pharmacy there at the Fauché Towers. So he went down there, and they gave him this little bottle about so big, and it cost him like $5. And so he still had the prescription because it was refillable. And then we went out to Marv's drugstore, and we got, we're talking with Marv and I on both, and then we were about to leave, and he said, well, he says, instead of taking this thing back to Melrose and get it filled, I might as well get some more here. So he gave the prescription to Marv, and Marv said, well, do you want a lot of it or just a small size? And he said, well, you might as well give me as much as you can. And so he says, okay. So he goes in the back and he gets this bottle about this big of milk of magnesia. And he says, that's $1.98. Oh. And Dad was just fit to be tied. He was ready to go back down to Fauché Tower and get it, because they'd sold him the same darn stuff and charged him an arm and a leg for it.
Yeah. Milk of magnesia.
Morris had a teacher who happened to be our advisor when we were juniors in high school. And we were putting on the junior prom. And this teacher, whose name was Mary Ann Scoville, didn't pay any attention to budgets at all. So she came downtown and bought all this material to make a false ceiling and spent hundreds of dollars that wasn't budgeted for. And times were tough, and MJ had to answer to the school board. And she bought the stuff about 4 blocks from here. And every damn time he'd come to town and I'd pick him up, as we'd get near this store, I'd lean away because I knew as soon as we passed this place, he'd say, hey, that's where Mary Ann Scoville bought all that stuff.
30 years later.
To the day he died, he remembered that store.
Do you remember Mrs. Redding by any chance taught English in Melrose?
Oh yeah, all her daughters were Mary.
Yeah, but her name was Mary Helen. Mary Helen. Her daughters were Mary Louise, Mary Jacinta, and Mary Bernadette. Yeah.
And her name was Mary Helen.
Yeah, and you were the occasion for Dad getting chewing out by her for being an animal. An animal. Keeping Mom pregnant all the time.
In my class.
And so Dad asked her, well, how come you have 3? The Blessed Virgin had told her that was the right number. And that's why she had named them all Mary.
In my class.
And that was the first girl that tried to seduce me, Mary Bernadette. And I was so dumb I didn't know how.
In my class.
This is on video.
Yeah. in my class was a young man named.
What happened?
Nothing.
Just me?
No. In my
We
class.
wasn't anywhere near her.
We didn't go near her this time.
She's got a complex over here.
Bob, we were talking about beatings last night.
In my class was a young man named Andy Vogel.
Yeah.
And when Mrs. Redding quit and left, it was a big cause for celebration amongst the whole school because she was a very strict disciplinarian.
Oh, and a real witch.
And anyway, Andy was talking with Dad one time, just after Mrs. Vogel left, and Andy said to Dad, well, one thing I have to say about Mrs. Redding, though, she sure learned us our English. and Dad remembered that, and he would tell that.
He'd tell that story all the time. She's the only teacher that counted attendance at Lenten devotions as part of your English grade.
Did you have to cut your own willow switches to be beaten?
Oh, God, that was terrible.
See?
The worst punishment I've ever had in my life.
At Melrose?
Oh, yeah, you had to go out and you had to find a stick that was thick enough for him to finish hitting you with.
Yeah.
But you couldn't, if you got too thick of one, it hurt.
Right.
You know?
And if it was too thin, you had to go back and get
Then you
another
had to, if he broke it before you were done, you had to go back and get a second stick.
Wow.
Yeah. When I told that, some of my kids said, well, didn't you hate your father? I said, no, I just wanted to get as big as he and beat the hell out of him. And then when I got that big, he had a cane.
The one thing
I never had to
I
get
think Pete
a
needs
willow
to tell a
switch.
story.
Would you repeat that again, sir?
This is the fastest man I've ever seen in my life. Dad would chase him up the stairs, through the second story, down the front porch.
Yeah, right, but never with a
Up
willow.
on the garage roof.
But with his razors, but with the razor strap.
With a razor strap, yeah.
That's what I said. He
Oh,
never
you-
cut the
oh,
willow
well,
switch. I didn't say I was an angel.
Oh, okay.
he never got the willow.
Come on, Pete.
No, but the thing was, he found out that branches broke too quick for you. That's why he moved up to the razor
I
strap.
guess so.
The way I heard it, the whole damn tree would have been down if he had followed through it.
Hey, Pete.
He usually was so mad by the
Gotta
time
tell
he
a
saw it.
story.
That's all right. I was faster than you, too.
I know you were. I'd have shot you that one time.
Let's hear it, Peter. Time for Pete.
Time for Pete.
Pete.
Time out.
Pete.
I can't really
He's trying to get
remember.
away from the camera.
Well, wait a minute now.
Do any of you guys live in
Who?
Penn Gully?
Tick-tock
Yeah,
Cafe.
but you said Melrose.
What?
That's one.
Yeah.
Peter?
Oh, Helen Drzenevich's Cafe. Helen's
No, in Penn Gully.
Oh, in Penn Gully.
It was a buffet.
Do we know how much time is left on the camera? There's no way to
Well, Dick
tell.
thought it might
I don't
be
know.
Swan, and that sounds right.
Yeah.
I
it
think
on?
that sounds right.
But there was a woman
Dorothy, do you remember when
Huh?
You don't
Did
have
Dad ever
it.
take
You have to
there?
hold the button
You
now.
took the car. You took the car when you were in the wintertime. You were telling me about that. You took the car, you and somebody else, and you tipped over or something, and your dad had to go after you.
No, we didn't tip over. We just ran into a snowbank.
Yeah.
Ran into a snowbank.
That was Joe.
Here comes a picture from the Black Lagoon.
We were all
He had
running
to
in
go through it
snowbanks.
twice.
That's in Minnesota. I think.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
It's snow.
But you and
Yeah.
Jim Smith, but it was you and Jim Smith.
Oh,
that
no,
right?
that's when Mom bought the piano. Mom bought this piano
Over
sight
Hibbing.
unseen over at Hibbing. And Dad had the driver's
Stay in our
trailer car. It was a 48 Chevrolet. 4-door.
Come here.
Had the dual controls in it, remember that?
Yeah.
And Mom wanted me to get some friends to go over and pick up the piano. So we went over to Hibbing, and it was an icy day, I remember. It had sort of sleeted the night before. We were coming back. We made all the arrangements and everything, but we couldn't. You know, it was a huge. So we were going to come back and get a trailer, and then go back to Hibbing. On our way back, it was rounding a turn, and skidded right into the ditch. We flipped the car over.
Was there a piano in the car?
No, we didn't have the piano with us. It was still in Hibbing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't remember how old I was. 48 I would have been. Or, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know how old I would have been.
53 or so.
But he had just come down to Minneapolis to get a speedometer for it. See, there was no speedometer in the car. So I didn't even know how fast I was going. So when he came home, Mom told him, she said, you might as well put the speedometer away, you don't need that.
No car.
He says, why?
Oh, boy.
He says, well, the car's out in the garage.
Smashed up a little bit.
Well, yeah. That's when he bought that 53 Ford, remember that?
Dick, tell the story about when you were late getting back to the Army and Dad drove you down racing the train.
Oh, Lord.
Twin Star Rocket.
Huh?
Twin Star Rocket.
The Twin Star Rocket.
Yeah, that was the old Ford, too.
Yeah, it was the old Ford with a bent cylinder.
The old 38 Ford, And I was supposed to take a train from Minneapolis down to Des Moines and then pick up the troop train to go out to the coast and then wait for a troop ship and shipped out to Guam. And they gave me 2 tickets, one from Minneapolis to Des Moines and then I'd get on the troop train. And the ticket from Minneapolis, we looked at it and it said
1201.
1201. And we got to the depot downtown Minneapolis, and they said, no, the train left at 11 o'clock. So we were like an hour late. And Dad said, well, there's nothing to do but get you to Des Moines. So we got the old car going down through Faribault and
Racing the rock?
Racing well, there was the Twin Star Flyer.
Oh, Flyer.
You know, that goes from the Lone Star State to the North Star State. They call it the Twin Star Flyer. And he had to race that train and catch up an hour because there was just barely time at the trains down in Des Moines. And we made it. And we actually made it. He had to stop for gas.
And that car came back with a clunk like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, I know, because then when I got back from the service, he gave it to me. And the first thing I did was replace the engine.
Dad sure wanted to get rid of him.
Yeah.
This isn't about your dad, it's about Dick.
Oh, it's about Dick?
Oh yeah, he's a real troublemaker. You know, he got out of the service.
True story.
True story, everybody.
True story, he got out of the service and he invited me over to help him polish his car because it would be a good experience for him. He had this old Ford that he bought. First we had to put a radio in, which was a week's work. And then he put me to polishing it. And about 3 months later, you know, once the car was finished, he didn't want anything to do with me anymore. He called me and he said, I've got this date in New Prague. And she has a sister, would you come along? Well, I'd never been out with a girl. I knew what girls were.
Uh-huh.
So we said, sure. So in order to do this, I had to repolish the car again so it looked nice for the girls. Marjorie and what?
Phyllis.
Philomena.
Phyllis.
Her name was Philomena Blaha.
So we got to the farmhouse and Philomena was fairly...
Good Czechoslovakian bohunk.
Philomena was fairly decent looking, but her sister was covered with open sores. She was.
No.
She had poison ivy.
She had poison ivy on one arm.
Yes, sorely. God.
Is that the end of the story, Wig?
What's the punchline?
No, what it really was he used to come over and he always wanted, he would help me polish the car because he wanted to go riding with me. I was the only one that he knew that could drive. And
there was question about that in Jordan.
Yes, that's true. And one time we were working on the car, we were polishing it, and we got into some kind of argument. And all of a sudden, Wig got very angry, and he threw the rags down in the dirt, and he says, "Polish your own damn car!" And he stormed off home.
Good for you.
He couldn't say it, and he couldn't do it. And really, I don't know, but my 2 sons taught me about hugging in time for me to hug Dad before he died. Because when I went away to the service, I was 17 years old. It was the day I was 17.
Yeah.
Dad took me down to the bus stop in Melrose at 3 a.m. And of course, him being Morris, he wasn't late. He was always... I don't know where the hell I got my genes from because by the way, you should know that the Ohio branch of the Weinbergers have agreed after much research that there are 3 basic Weinberger genes that don't skip generations, that are inflicted on everybody. Number 1, they talk too much.
Oh yeah.
Number 2, they're messy with their food. They dribble down. Right, John? And yes, I've seen some. And number 3, they procrastinate. They're late. They get birthday cards like a year later.
That does not hold true with your sister.
Or me.
She's on time for everything. Number 2.
Well, she got Dad's genes then.
You could ask Pete
about that.
Number
Ask Peter
two,
about his birthday.
she does not talk too much. There are weeks when she doesn't say anything.
To you, well, that's a different thing. That's a different thing. Dad sat with me an hour waiting for that bus to come, and this was during World War II.
Right.
And
You didn't know what was
we didn't know what I was going to get into or when I'd be back. As it turned out, I didn't ever get shot at. But he didn't know that morning. And we sat there for an hour, and he didn't say one damn word in that whole hour. And when we
So
got...
what was going through his mind? You know, we always wondered.
Yeah, well, I've got some idea. But when the bus came, he stood up and he stuck out his hand. He said, "Goodbye, Mom." And that was it.
But
And then, after that, I was, got this thing of, Dorothy gave me a pack of his papers that you found afterwards. And he's got letters in there from people back when he was in high school. And I got to thinking about what the heck I've got to let my kids know what I was like back then.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking part of it's my dad's fault. One of the things, when I was in the service, I don't know if I was as bad then as I am now, but you know I don't write.
I know you don't write.
By the way, I'd like you to tell my daughters that because they think it's just something personal.
Well, he doesn't write.
He doesn't write.
He doesn't write to me either.
That should be the fourth.
I just noticed you talk with your hands.
We don't write. We don't write very much. That's the fourth gene. Pete just identified the fourth gene. We don't write. But Dad used to send my letters home from the Dad used to send my letters to him from the Navy back, corrected in red ink. Honest to God.
Oh, jeez.
And you know that slows you down.
I can tell you one of the smartest things my dad ever did. That was to insist that I have 1 year of nurses training. I mean, since I was 11 years old, I was going to be a nurse. That was, I mean, it was practically written in stone. And lo and behold, in my senior year in high school, I met this guy, and that was it. I was in love, and I was not going to go to school. I wanted to get married. And Dad said, no, you are going to have 1 year of college. You will learn more in 1 year living with other women than you will learn in your whole lifetime. You will have that 1 year of school. Then if you want to get married, fine. And of course, once I was in school, I was hooked. I loved it, and here I am, still a nurse. So that was the smartest thing he ever did for me.
Yeah, but you still married him.
today we're going to be taking the last half of this film, and we're down at the park in Minneapolis Falls.
All right. Way to control it.
And you're going to see all the people that you saw before at the picnic, and we're not going to try to identify anybody. We'll just let them holler and let you enjoy them. This is the pickup soccer game that's been going on for a little while. And here's the lone goalie sitting here all by himself. And here comes his helper. Panning up towards the pavilion, you can see all the Weinbergers. This is all Weinbergers. Let's zoom in on some of them.
Go, Rick.
All right, Andy. Woo, great.
Well, the dinner bell rang, and so now everybody's coming up to eat.
That's why I got up early.
Hi, Jim.
This is my Rick.
How are you?
Bill, Weinberger,
Yeah, a little bit gray. I'm very
Get in line. You rolling what? It was nice.
It was not. I don't see it in my face.
And then there's some, I mean, it's just like, you know, they either had a whole bunch or very few. Right? I mean, not in any situation.
Blue forks are only for those who are pregnant.
Well, I could answer baby son.
Bill?
We've been talking about where the red hair comes from.
Oh, wow!
I know that. That's why I mean, I was bloody hurt.
That's where you're headed. I have another one. I'm getting strawberry.
You can pour some underneath.
No, honey. Look at the bottle.
A fella can get a lot more by grazing.
Bill, I have the same picture. Yeah, but I've got
Isn't that a Minnesota machine then? Yeah, they really were. It's the old geezer. Hey, Dick.
Oh,
Hi,
How you
Jim.
doing?
how you doing?
We're cousins.
We're cousins.
You
Yeah.
certainly are.
Margaret.
And Joe.
Hey.
Margaret with the cookies.
This is Margaret. Yeah.
And
I've got a deeper voice.
And Joe with the full plate of food, as usual.
Let's do a time-lapse study here. It is, Bill. Usually it's not see something naughty into it.
Because we employed United Airlines. So, one whole. Are you still video camming?
You bet.
You baby.
We got more kids here this time. We got to get all these little kids on there so everybody can say, "Oh, look, there's my little Rosie."
A movie maker.
What position did you play?
Say, did you know that he used to squirt in his
Really?
He did? This is right here. You're going to call that shit.
Not today, I'm not.
I'm your aunt.
Peekaboo, Lindsay.
She's used to being on that. Steve has one too.
I gotta get another picture of all these chow hounds here.
Here's another daughter-in-law, Kathy.
Who is this guy? Oh.
You haven't gotten anything on your plate you've been eating as you've been going.
That should show out pretty good.
All I know is that's what
Are you saying everybody's name so we know who can talk?
No, today everybody's on their own if they want. If they holler out their name, then they get their name on here. Otherwise,
Say their name, please.
I don't think she saw that.
Tom made it.
That's a nice idea. You already got me.
Rivers is away. And Ellie's at dance. I'm going to, I just might
And this is the lady that did all the work.
Relaxing at the end of the line.
All right.
Praying that there's some food left.
You
I
can't
really
be
need it.
you can't be at the end of the line because I haven't eaten.
That's good to know, thank you.
Vegetable?
It's in that first bag, see right there by the beans.
What? Eyeball? Yeah.
He can talk back to us.
Yeah, Ray taught me that.
Well, wait.
Ray taught me that. Ray lived with us. No, Ray lived with us while your mother was sick. And Ray and I were always close anyway, but after that we were closer.
Well, I thought you taught him. I thought it was good that he taught
No, I don't know. Maybe it was mutual, but it's Fred.
Well, I must. You made me talk about it, and then you came to visit or something. Cincinnati.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm married to another
I think by sneaking in like that, you're not going to get on, right? Do that again.
She's one of those people that's an inverse reader and dancer.
Gotta have one of each. They're all good.
One of each.
One of each.
Okay.
That's the kind of kid that has trouble learning to read. Yeah, but they can do it backwards. I don't know, maybe it's fine.
Oh, there it is.
Sandra. Okay. You got what, my eye teeth?
I've never tasted beans like this. North Carolina.
Sneak right in on this side. What do you want, ham?
Use it sparingly.
Is it? Alright, scram it. You're out of here.
Boy, who made those brownies? What a mess.
They're good. I've had one already. They're good.
They're kind of
Good morning, how are you?
Well, I just want to get some pictures of people relaxing after that good meal.
after they eat.
Everybody sit there and let your stomach hang out.
Get out of her!
It's like, don't worry about that. Just have fun here. Your makeup all been like dumbed down.
You're the only one who's here.
But I might not finish. Look out, buddy. No, but I am going to my dad. I don't know this one.
What's this?
to these reunions.
This
and
is
you
all
talk
the
to other
picture
people, you
sorters.
find out some hokey stuff.
And they're trying to
if
figure
somebody
out
had
which
asked
picture
me
is of who,
5 years
and
ago,
sometimes they don't
name
really
the
know.
most model of integrity and strong values, and a person living consistently by his values that you know. I just said my father.
This guy's my cousin Bill. He wasn't here the other day, so we gotta get him in here quick.
Played 2 years illegally for Cathedral High School, and Ed was with him.
You know, he was, so when he went to St. John's College,
as a
His
freshman,
father was Galen.
already like 20 years old. But how could Dad be playing when he was 15? I mean, he told me.
well, but wait, Dad wouldn't have graduated till 24, I think, in the records here.
Okay.
So your dad would have been.
See, I got the impression.
Your dad would have
that,
been 18.
I got the.
Oh no, but your dad would have been 18.
So your dad was like.
And that's Betty and other Galen's kids.
Yeah. So here, you know, he played as a ringer. They paid a scholarship to Ed and Dad to beef up, and they got the pictures of them.
My dad told me stories of how they broke it. Your dad, my dad, kept getting us all-state fullback from St. John's, and every play by the end of the first half, the guy went out and fell over the leg. Because Brandy was the coach. He was one of the 7 rocks at Brandy.
Yeah.
Told the story. Well, your dad was huge.
Yes.
My dad, I always think guys would say, you get bigger as you run the rest.
They're studying the family tree.
No, but your dad remained athletic a lot longer in his life than my dad.
He was playing tennis. When he was 16 years old, his reflexes as a pig farmer were better than mine, and I thought I was pretty good.
I was just so pissed at him. I played in the Navy, and I got
Look at who's
just so he'd have he could beat me anytime he wanted, but he would.
Hey, Alan,
Hey.
look over here. He's not going to look for anybody.
Hey, there's Uncle Dave. Hi, Uncle Dave.
Wave.
Because of that, I gave that to you. Dad beat me 21-3.
He's a movie star already.
You're going to be on the TB.
I told him if he was playing a paralytic, he could beat him 21-0.
We'll zoom in on that cute little face.
So he was the miniseries Weinberger.
We lived by
This is all the genealogy freaks worried about who did what to whom. And they're going through name changes and why some people are called Bill. And this is our cousins from down in Iowa.
He has more fun this one. Yeah.
All right, I'll zoom in on you. How's that? And this is wife. This is the family tree.
Old Southern homes I read so much about. I've never seen one yet. So they took me to one in Vicksburg, Mississippi that was being renovated and repaired. If you look in there under Mississippi, it was being done by, you know, here by state. I gave you one, didn't I?
Yeah, but I'm looking in the
Oh, okay.
Is MI Michigan?
Yeah.
Casper, are they in there?
Casper's in there, Washington, D.C.
Where's Washington?
D.C.
Is there any chance?
On the back is Steve. Now, I don't have...
They offer it's LA.
Well, he got the barbershop. That's what it happened.
Quebec Street.
Well, you know what's amazing to me is not how accurate it is. What's amazing to me is how inaccurate it is. I'm not in it. Steve, my son, is not in it. Mike, my son, is not in it.
Mike, how about
she's changed her name. I mean, really, she's changed her first name and her last name, but she's in it. Where the hell they got I called him and I said, where did you get this telephone book? Oh no, he said there's an outfit that has put together a commercial list of names. They call it Among Themselves.
This looks like a multi-level marketing group here.
We need two bodies laid across the front.
Boy, look at that. Look at the cameras. Have you ever seen such?
All right.
Right in there. Right in there.
All right.
Look at that.
Everybody almost ready? Yep. No, no, let's not fuss.
Is everybody in here?
Look over there somewhere.
Everybody's someplace.
I don't think you have anyone else here.
You get one?
Yep. That's a good one.
I don't think so.
Did you get one? How many did you get?
That's my camera right there.
Okay, well, we got
Okay, that's it. It's over, right? We're out of here. Are we done? You're out of
He
here.
hasn't got one yet.
Look at all these cameras.
Look at all these cameras. Behind the legs. I need to start the picture.
Are they finished already? I think so.
Wait a minute, Linda's...
Okay, turn around and get Joe and Mary.
Out.
Joe and Marianne are together for if you want to get them.
In a photograph like that.
Oh, they're taking pictures now. That's why we aren't getting the whole two together yet.
Everybody, half of us left already.
I know, that's the thing. You can't
Well,
keep us waiting around forever.
Is that number 5? You can't
Where
keep
is it?
us waiting around.
Helene, I need you.
I think he said there's only
Somebody came
never
up with
right.
Yeah, but there's something else.
Never right.
Never writes left.
Oh, never right. I thought you meant never right, like never.
Hey, getting us all together.
Okay, now look like you're alive. Cheese and crackers got all muddy.
Oh, hey, little cheesecake there. Woo, woo, woo. All right.
Okay, that's enough.
Okay. Happy.
Someone could take a snap.
There, whip one of those on us too while we're here.
What's we?
Got a good smile.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
did your
thank you.
Band-Aid come off?
See, that was simple. That was my first time ever. Of course, we don't
Was
know
it
how
good
it
for
turned
you as
out
it was
either.
for me?
Yeah.
Really get to it. I'm turning it up and turning it up faster, I think.
Yeah, see, all you do is just turn on the power. The camera is running.
Great beat, come here. Great.
I'm not gonna. All right, now compress. A whole bunch. Yeah, get in there. All right.
John,
That's what I was thinking.
Mike, lift that bench up and move it forward.
Can I use the sets it out? Yeah. We want everyone between those two trees.
Which side, Leo? This side?
Between the two trees. Move it together. Move down from that end.
But you can't see the back.
Go way on top of that. Joe, move in a little bit. Get up on the table. Marianne, stand up. You and all your rolls, stand up. We're real good, real good. Marianne, can you stand up?
Oh, I'll try. Here we go.
Be comfy, you're gonna have to hold it. I didn't
Alphabetically by height.
Oh, no, we'll take I'm going to stand up here.
Smile!
Cheese!
Weinberger. True story. All together. True story.
Really true story.
Hang on, we got some more cameras.
Okay, now you can in.
Oh, they're going to come and take pictures. All 7 of them. What a way.
What was far?
One more.
You use these good cameras.
One more with those. Use any of them. We'll never get this crew again together. Do it now.
No, maybe not.
There we go.
Are we done? That one was my round too.
Yeah.
That's right. It's all ready. Thank you.
It's all ready. Go.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
A couple more minutes.
Two adults on one.
I think you just died.
How did you find us? All right for you, Mrs. Weinberger.
Wallace,
Oh,
were you set up by your own mother?
Yes. I saw her coming over here and I thought, she should be getting that going on over there. And he's not saying a word.
You're being videotaped too.
Yeah.
I can in all honesty say I didn't know he was going to do you. I told him not to do it to you.
Don't do it. Let me go.
She sat there and she said, "Don't do Linda. Don't do Linda."
Well, then when he insisted he was going to do it, I said, well, don't get her hair. So I did save your hair.
Hey, thank you for small hair. That's what Becca said when she got the first one.
Now everybody is wary of the camera and wig, and he's sitting by himself, and everybody else is way far away. Now all the kids have come after Wig with their water glasses, and Wig has found a raincoat. And everybody has been after him, and now he's walking away in his protection. Now what sage things do you have to say at the end of this tape?
This is the last one.
Only one word. Once again, Warner Wagner has failed to be admitted to the Weinberger flag.
Next time, make him get on a plane, because that's the reason why it's always here, is he's afraid to fly.
Next, 1996 in
next year in Jerusalem.
In Moose Lake in 1996.
And somebody won't be invited.
Sign is running.
I'm so glad.
Well, this is the Weinberger.
Shoot on video.
Yes.
That was?
Yes.
Oh, great.
This picnic is now winding down, and we all thank the Wagners.
You'll have to wait and see the videotape.
Who was that?
I don't know. I didn't see.
Would you like to have the instant? Would you like to have the instant replay?
You can barely recognize people.
It's your own son.
So this is about the end.